Etienne for etwa kama akuma yensa wo ati mu baako no wo mutimi ati mu sa ena ntene Bolino ehye baako Napoli ehye baako AC Milan medikan akon ho asem ena eno a your friend say Lucio for nso etena fi ebodro na ese ensam no chese soro no chese soro no de eje fombo no mo twe fombo sa anya de na ese no se no you go pie mo Italians ya de mu di agro die kwa na ekoso ye ko pie mo ofie dia na ese nei emrantie bi omkoka mu ewo Ethiopia no ene de na ese ensam eba no nyame adom ochena ye ja won maba nyame adom ochena no ye mo be pie mo Ghana ha na ese emrantie ntwe mo aliye di mo ni ade so hwe players Black Stars players pa ana wakoka ensinsemu a ene de wo mo Ethiopia no na esi ankra ba ne se nyame adom anado oyipuma okwam o se ye nkofam na ntene mra nti ochena omba be pie mu ewo Ghana na ka huru se om the plane e ba be si baabi ne de ka akakofom e de wa be pie mu Ghana nti sana ensam no etie because of ya lock down nti no say ye makwan na car de etimi ewurom nti players no e de car ene baba Ghana kromu a na ese no ensam enso eno no ye kopie mu de na se ne abrantie ba ko a na osina kan edema Chelsea ewo England a ne de wakopie mu Brighton na eno ena GF de atodwa se wo mo ne abrantie guso kasa abrantie ben na meka na asem no den ade lamte Terry lamte na abrantie wo mu guso mo ne abrantie ne kasa se ono so betima be pie mu ewo eye Ghana na so besina kan ede ama Black Stars yese ne modern born ewo soro pa na abrantie wo bo ne matches ma ko yensa pe ene de ma England Chelsea na yese utim se you to know ho etina se etimi ma ne ko na obufufre de eba etine na de Black Stars fo guso ne kasa den so o mesi aka yesre wo besi aka ma Black Stars so na ye de hia mrante ene mabawa sa ena ensam etie abrantie na yese Osekufo the general na waka nsem bebiri wo setama na o watch House of Folk no na oye de bibia sere be ya ebe hye kotokofo na mo be fa no na so o say setama na ka so kobo kotoko no wa nya nkobo etintawa onya akonya kobo house no na oye bibia sere be hye kotokofo enu nti na bra na o mo hye kotokofo ne no nei otimi yire ne ho hye goals a ma kotoko wo mutimi so mo fo up to now ono akasa kora kokobo kotoko no we ntimi kura nhye house na na otimi se goals a na o hye nyina no 4-0 nim na sa ena ensam etie ye kopie mu ewo Glorious Accra House of Folk dia ene dia pomai eno na ne dia ye bon hundo nkomi a tese obia ani age ho na no ena ne dia se day 9 ena tese omudi adwumadie no ehye so na ruhye zanima ekoyie eti producer Misro mam video no na fe me manfo enhwe House of Folk project no na bia enso enye kama tuhwe na se project no ena edaso a chese wo mo foundation de motu foundation na say House of Folk emu ayede na enra na ti say Fred Mo mu nyina kopiepie ho na say penifo no ekopie mu o mkohwe se de adwuma na tie na hwe mo tim say penifo no wo na omu yo twetwa pictures na say Fred Mo anya de don twetwa pictures na mo hwe eye adwuma no se de omo ye ko eyefa no maduru ba bi ompeso mo koduru bia no na say omo ye sa adwuma no na say no ho ensem no producer nyami enhira pa sa nso ne kopie mu de na de kotokofo wo mo twetwe omo say House for de mu ye da bia na pictures ena videos ya bremo House de sa de tie sa ne ensem so tie ye kopie mu de na sports minister Isaac Esiama but to say enchekura omba be wie multi-purpose sports complex ni makoma ko 10 ompeso mu ye ne fine tinhwemu na say that kind of sports complex no ompeso mu ye say ya na kontiba emiamia be 10 no wo mu de enchekura be hye so a so mawie ke say omu wie ya animanim ya na yeso mo da na di de akire ye Ghana fo nya wo say adwuma sei na wo mo nso aye akodu nti hu pa emane enyongonwa yesa ena ensem no etintazik Esiama se ubo adwuma pa ubo adwuma sa ena ensem no enso etie ene na okreku dia tuda se wo mo ede esi ano wo mo enda enso se ebia wo mo dwene eye pama issue ne ho o se cast issue ne de ewo ho se ewo ho na ene su no mo hwɛ sɛ bibia bɛyɛ fine na no na question e bisa ne sɛ nyame adom ana sɛ palma wini a what is the future of a year GFA no what is the future of the GFA no omo adwuma omo edi ti nyame adom a Saturday ni ehia ebi di saa nkomo no ebehwɛ saa nkomo no nyina na sɛ Kurt Okleku no wo hwa na ne si a nyame adom omo postpone eye date no na gesi Friday ɛna nka omo eye nhyehyɛ na nkomo de ruling ba out na nso antie ba ne sɛ cars esi dabi wa postpone date no e de akɔ August 5th let's August 5th ɛna nyame adom a omo de ruling baba hwan ɛna ewini nyame adom a Saturday hia yɛn na yɛ discussion ne brewa ubehu de ɛkɔ bebi a fortune free buy ɛhefa politics bɛn ne wom wɔn na hyɛ akyire a omo pie biane ma wɔn na ɛyɛ den yɛde ne nyina bɛbrɛ nyame adom a ɔkyena na yɛsi hia de a bia nso ɛbɛyɛ fine ne ukopie mu dia na yɛsɛ lawyer labi ɛde atodwa sɛ ne mpa yɛ nyina ɛne sɛ keto ɛyɛ palm be win ni case no na yɛsɛ ɔte de a na ɛyɛ asefem sɛ obi a ɛyɛ ɛna palm win ni case no ɛna palm win ni case ɛdeɛn ɛna tɛtɛ ne ti medical card nyame adom a sɛ de ehyia yɛn ɛwɔ politics in sports na yɛfa sa ne nyina no de nti ɛna nkɔfo hyɛ akyire a wɔn ɛyɛ palm win ɛsɛ no ho ɛnsɛm ɛno nti nyame adom a surprisingly no Kurt yɛfa sɛ cars ɛde ne nsɛm no akopie mu ɛwɔ 5th ɛyɛ August sɛ wɔn nso ɛtoto wɔn nneɛma ɛde asɛm no nyina ɛbɛ na wie dia na sɛ ne yɛbɔ apini ɛyɛ GFA na yɛ sɛ wɔn de wɔn nti odogo wɔn nso wɔn nti sɛ odogo bi po enu abɛ nti asɛm na mɛka no na saa na mɛka no sɛ wɔn nso wɔn nti sɛ odogo bi po kura yɛ dɛ enu abɛ eti ne ɛnura ɛna wɔn kɔ meeting na wɔn di ka start meeting Tuesday ɛna ɛna wɔn yie bi ɛna wɔn de nhyehyɛ bɛgu hɔ sɛdeɛ yɛbɛyɛ league no next season na ɛno wɔn de ato dwa sisi a no nyame adom a wɔn hwɛ anim a sɛ ɛyɛ 2021 ɛne 2022 no wɔn de windows na bɛto obi abɛtumi assign players wɔn abɛso sign players wɔpɛ so register wɔn de hyehyɛ ne nyinaa atumi ɛde abɛto eti preparation no egu so a ɛkɔ so a otumi sɛ 144 kora deɛ wɔn register wɔn players ne nyinaa awie wɔn ayɛ saa hyehyɛ ne nyinaa awie wɔn test players a ɛsɛ wɔn hwɛ anim a sɛ ɛkwan nyinaa bɛda hɔ eti FIFA GFA ɛna bɛto sɛ October ɛkɔ no wɔn make sure sɛ league ne betumi ba nkɔm eti no wɔn de other procedures nyinaa bɛto dwa ɛde ama Ghana fɔ wɔn mu sɛ sisi a league ne yɛ starting da say yɛ bie window da say na yɛ afa ha akɔ ha ba asia sɛ bɛyɛ ne nyinaa bɛso betumi ayɛ kama ɛde ama eti wɔn mu nkyerɛ mu wɔn mu nyinaa opɛ so ɔte de a ɛne nyame anoma Saturday hyia me 11 AM na mene me pamfo ntena se yɛmfa nsɛm ne mpɛnsɛm mu nyinaa ɛmfa mmerɛ nyame adom a ɛyɛ Saturday saa ɛna nsɛm no ɛteɛ mede nsɛm no nyinaa ɛde asi ɛde ama anɔpɛ nkyia kɛseɛ nkɔmɔ me producers ne nyinaa in fact ɔmo bɔ adwuma paa ɛhyɛ aseɛ de afiri ɛyɛ team B ɛba sound de a ɔyɛ too much ɔyɛ superb saa enso na yɛsɛ yɛpiepie machines no yɛde te nneɛma w'anim ayɛ fɛ paa de a na sɛ me ho ayɛ fɛ ya me gyina ha ya na yɛsɛ ɛyɛ Father Jason Junior ɔno nso ɛka ho okɔ producer okɔ production dia na sɛ nei agye wakɔ de mpa bi Victoria nyame adom yɛsa aka na ha ne ho atɔ na ma sɛ na ɔba de ɔbɔ adwuma saa enso na ne de Daniela enso ɛwɔ ha Akosomo ɔno nso ɛwɔ ha ɔno nso bɔ machi dom ɛma nnwuma no nyinaa akɔ so kama nyame ɛnhyira sɛ wɔn nso abere na abere nyinaa ɔhwɛ me enti no megya mu ɛde amount na ɔmo de ɛyɛ morning milk na ɛyɛ paper review no newspaper review no enso ɛtimi ɛde abɛsom ba bibia wɔ mede is still Charles nana ati from say Charles na menye so yes I macra
me gain di Kofi Akpalo me na me leader LPG be bia me TV to and one name MHTV na me share sports beat me mesisa program where na that's the be that's the be eti share sports beat.
Are you worried about your security? Are you able to access and protect your property and the people you care about? With an increased height in robbery and kidnapping, you should not compromise on your security. Global Sky Limited, your total security solution, is here to help you secure your office and residence.
Informations from supervisors and the team who go out for that patrol.
With the ICT part of the services that we're going to talk about, the CCTV security systems, the access control systems, tracking device systems, biometric door lock systems, and many more. So when we talk about the ICT part, that is the ICT part of the company. We specialize in what I've mentioned earlier. And when you talk about the physical aspect, that has to do with the professional manga security services. These are professional guys who recruit. We do background check on them. We do profiling on them. We actually train them on two things: theory part and the physical part. Theory part for them to know how to work with people, human relations, and also when it comes to the physical part, how to defend them. To defend themselves in terms of a robbery or an attack. So, long story short, basically those are the two things as a company we provide.
For more information, call 0302 522 503 or 0264 363 125. You can also visit www.globalskyafrica.com. Global Sky, someone is always watching.
Papa, didn't know so man is car.
Me kwa bana mi so yila se mi fi se lances ni kwa na eja na me yere mi fi se kwa ba mi
Lances here juma.
In fact, this kind of mommy no, we won't drip because me bisa no say I didn't know mommy ska. My age mommy answer o mommy ska o say there. Me bisa no say I didn't know mommy ska. O say o pamicho. Ante me bisa no so pamicho. Te me nim bia ntina o de o mommy ska.
Ever newspaper review segment our morning break jumedies we di am just one ama Akosomo na ene de abeji wa kwode ama ai na ya kese wa asusu ni ha na nipa amne ne ye Sir Charles ma kope Sir Charles akwaba
Yes,
jumedi oma so yasne global sky security global sky says someone is always watching and Leonard Holmes ayaba dansi ehu ne mani na ushia Leonard Holmes pe we shia waje nkwa edan no etisen Leonard Holmes besi amafefe in fact say a gate kra na apesa oto na oto wo fa ho a Leonard Holmes be ne ebeto amapepepe na sani ye sha se da ewo ye derbo nkratan sensem no Sir Charles ye wo news platform kesi bi wa hot news platform ne befa stories ni bi ewo ye platform ne so na ya kenkan ni ya pensim semo a epie mu nti your first story ewo hot news platform ne so ne ye wo Jacobu, 2 policemen drowned in Adan River while pursuing robbers. 2 policemen have drowned in a river at Krobo village near Jacobu in Amansia Central District of the Ashanti region. Lance Corporal Stephen Cheremi and colleague Amedios Kwesi Boateng, both of Obuasi District Police Command, and 2 others, identified as Sergeant Isaac Nyamiche, James Ehiman, who were on Obuasi Dunkwao Highway patrol duties upon the stress called that some small-scale miners had been attacked by armed robbers, proceeded to Krobo. The officers, in the effort to proceed to the scene, hired a canoe to cross the Odan River to the site where the robbery attack was reported to have occurred, but the robbers escaped upon seeing the police. On their way back, the canoe on which all were on board capsized, and the 2 sergeants managed to swim ashore, while the other 2 lance corporals, together with their service rifles, are yet to be traced, according to Detective Inspector Inkum Isaac. Akronfuo na police fo kwata o. No minim say ye beti meme. No medwane afa nsuo so.
When say we nye first time I see. Ti mi ya na metin say mi ya na nhyeda nye mwa. Because sa du nkwa kwan so me matena du nkwa pen for 7 years nti mi nim sa ne ma we mi nyina. Ti no eba say bia a police form ko say ye kwachi obi odu nkwa kwan so ya na ye yi kakra. But say oma a form nsase a e so mo san koso kohwe because there's no way say a police form akonfo eyira e wo mo nsase in this our modern world there be esa na omati what I say it ni esre Ghana police for wo du nkwa sa kwan ne so wo no kopuma se ne ade ade se wo munyo madwuma yi efri se konfo ntimi nkonko ko robo nkrofo ma obi kakra ba bi akodi no na konfo akwaji na se wo ka kire mi se odoje wo pa de a ede ne emu ye wirem kakra
Na onwu ni se bia na boat na obude na munsuo no sune so adodo nti police for the so munya na yeso kakra.
Enti omo no hwan mu na yeso ka omo ka kire omo yeso omo anom take decisions ana se yeso obi na prompt omo se ana be mi hu because dey nti na yeso mu ade a mu use na mo de bom ho ban mo de eya akundi a boat ni sa ne manema atuo ni yeso obi na be ka kire omo se butuo asai ana so obi na be ka kire se boat ni so a entumri ka kese nti no akonfo na eta omo no oh na say we kasa asem ya say straight for the yiwadi.
Yet 3,600 rape cases recorded during lockdown. minister. The Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development, Senator Pauline Talling, has condemned the upsurge in rape cases in Nigeria or worldwide. She noted with concern that no fewer than 3,600 cases of rape were recorded during lockdown. She said, reports that we received from commissioners of women affairs across the 36 states of our federation reveal that each state recorded at least 100 rape cases during COVID-19 induced lockdown. Talling stated this when she visited the deputy president of the Senate. Sir Charles, Nigeria for ya. 3,600 rape cases.
Over Nigeria for. Now, no, you see, one thing I have mentioned Nigeria for is it's like your COVID-19 pandemic. And I'm also try say one more day a year rape cases ever cover COVID-19. So the idea of among us someone do because 300 and saying 3,000 like how? Now say every day be a woman rape come to me for 4 or 5. Why? In fact, over Nigeria, no more. Don't Nigeria any Ghana for the Sati, I did be affected on the affected automatically. No, but maybe I'm more on another day. Nigeria for when the one you say rape and when the baby my Jumano.
Na yaka Nigeria, the young Kasi Ghana so we are kum Ghana.
Ghana how can you be a yes, I demand. I remember some story be a minya na the northern region of baby. They say or the 2 city and the quadada akwala and of course say no. Akwala onyi nu baby a do the 2 city dada na e can be obeje na te say ma memory wafo ya minim mu ebi ofia ni bi o kuro mi o do I just o force no. You see the point? It no minim the mindset e woni pa dwemu a ema obi hu obi a akwala keto as ma repu no me who feelings ko wa akwala no akwala wenya be 7 6 years 5 years minim feelings ko wa akwala no a uhu na e say eye wa kono ama ko
now
I say what does you
uka akwala 7 na me kind story be lady be say oh no there say the boy ne ne ba a wenya 4 months eda ne nani age
the boy and on number 4 months
ne ba 4 months eda
4 months 4 months no emu dia wen sa because me who 4 months ko an wo kan ne ba wenya 4 months ni kru ne boy no nye ni kru mpo ne boy ene akwara ne da ne nani age owo honhom bi buta no
so ohun ne sa se omo da na ne nani age ho
omo da se omo da mpa so okrokro na se omo da nkasa
omo ohun ne sa
Ghana o Ghana
no Ghana had a san case finish
oh dimi ni Ghana hakra da 4 months oh why
any the hot news platform in sensem ni na akwakogu ni de akogu de na said the mindset of the wise four no any de twas well. And the mindset of the wise four say he understands the law of servantship. Remember your ability to serve people, not to be a boss, is the first principle of wealth creation. You must have a servant mentality and not a boss mentality. Once you do so, you fulfill the scriptures. Odibewe no say make divine decision. A divine decision is a decision that fulfills scripture according to Matthew 20:26. Your ability to serve will automatically put you into greatness. Keep your mind service derives from servantship. Example, any organization that offers servantship grows in numbers and become bigger. Good morning.
Akosomo story na ne advice na very good because ura Bible ma enko Bible kaka because I'm a pastor so like a young pastor you know yenko Bible kaka oko Bible mu a omo som ye no nyame epija won so I say omo som ye nyame epija won enti osom eyade a ekuta another power thing Samuel esom ye Samuel som no osom ye no obenya nyam obeti nyankopon ni because osom ye Elijah ni Elisha na Elijah obi osua but Elisha ɛhyɛ n'ase som no ɛbɛnya power ɛboro na boro adwene nti aseɛ so and baabi a Elijah ɛnde ne miracle ne hɔ ɛna Elisha nso ɛstart ne miracle so aseɛ eti no ɔsom ɛyɛ adeɛ a ekuta a different power thing a sɛ wotumi som ɔsompa di ne kura ma o master abrinya ubenya wobɛyɛ nipa soronko ɛwɔ nipa kukuo nyinaa mu nti ɔsom deɛ yɛ wansom paa na ɔyɛ ɔho so me deɛ o meyɛ boss me deɛ meyɛ boss a ebedu baabi a ɛso wohwehwɛ so bɛsom no obi ani wɔbɛsom ɛyɛ give and take wosom obi bɛsom sɛ wofuro obi da a wobɛfrɛ ɔda a wofuro obi ma wobɛfrɛ ɔma that's how ade ne teɛ nti no story wei ɛkyerɛ sɛ ɛsɛ nipa bi a wosom ukuta adwene saa dɛbɛdɛbɛdɛbɛ wanyini kora na ɛsɛ wode hyɛ w'adwene mu sɛ wosom oh mesom me pastor oh mesom mante bi oh sometimes yɛn nipa no yɛ adwene so ɔsom no ɛna yɛbɛsomasoma wo ɛna yɛbɛyɛ so ɛnyɛ ɔsom nyinaa na ɛyɛ asomasoma anaasɛ yɛwie ɔsom no nso kuta ne different way a ɛbɛtumi aboa wo respect pani bi a bɛhyia no fa ne die ne ma no wate aseɛ ɛsɛ abenya abrɛ wo ho ase wokɔ n'anim a ɛsɛ wode w'adwene sɛ oh mekɔ pani kɛseɛ bi anim ɛna kɔdi nkɔmmɔ ahobrɛaseɛ honhom na ade ama no sɛdeɛ wode ma yɛagye nkwa no saa ɛna so de ma nipa a ɔbɛn wɔ ɔnyini nti wowura fie a sɛ na hu sɛ yɛpani awura yi nsa da sɛ ɔsɔre na saa nidie no wode ama no because o deserve but okay so oh that me your boss enemy wobɛtena fie na makoma de wo ti saa na asɛm no tie.
Yes, I did the mindset of the wife in Semna Kogunu. Emma so be follow you on your social media platform, Facebook, any Instagram, MHTV, YouTube, any Twitter, so no Marveling House Limited. Ubetuma subscribe to your channels nini na. Ubetuma so visit your website www.marvelinghouse.com. Nti yɛbɛfa Deribon Krata na yɛbɛyɛ Deribon Krata mpɛnsɛmpɛnsɛ mu no. Na deɛ di kan yɛwɔ daily graphic. I heard the front page of the daily graphic a yɛwɔ government releases 70 million Ghana cedis to schools. Money for academic intervention, practical and technical exam. Yes, I will police delegation in Yendi division over commanders expulsion. And also on page 16, graphic do Ghana Travel Festival Emancipation Day launched. Yafa Ghanaian Times, the Ghanaian Times, the front page of the Ghanaian Times, so you will swindlers target financial institutions. Bank of Ghana raises alarm. And who page 11. Bernard Mona faces Supreme Court July 21, page 3. Arrest, prosecute persons flouting COVID-19 protocols, GBA. 4th Teacher Union demand closure of schools. Here we are now the the Daily Guide newspaper. And front page of the Daily Guide newspaper. No show at Mona contempt hearing. Page 3. Vice President hints rent digitization. Page 6. GBC DTT orders sparks fresh MPP NDC fight. Page 6. Baumia changes rise. Sugar. Butter politics in Zongos. I no I said almost so daily graphic yaya the crow almost starting almost stories no our front page of the graphics. Now and the daily graphic newspaper no and na daily graphic day nim so almost story no di kan no ma shase o wanti kan na akwa piem e wo chire ni atoaso. Government releases 70 million Ghana cedis to schools. Money for academic intervention, practical and technical exams. The government has released about 70 million Ghana cedis for smooth take-off of the 2020 West Africa Senior High School Certificate Examination, which begins on Monday, July 20, 2020. Out of the amount, 56,629,688 Ghana cedis has been disbursed to the account of the individual schools for the payment of academic intervention to staff. Additionally, 7,802,508 Ghana cedis is to be used for the technical examination organized by the Technical Education Unit of the Ghana Education Service and the National Board of Professional and Technical Examination. Besides, 5,707,000 570 Ghana cedis will cover practical examination for WASI candidates in all practical-based programs. Touching on practical-based programs, the director explained that the amount was meant for the schools to procure specific items that the students will be requiring in various practical examinations. He explained that the need of some schools will be different from those of others, as some schools would offer certain practical-based subjects while others might offer different ones. Professor Opokwa Mankwa said, for instance, that visual arts students will start their practical exams on Monday, July 20, 2020, and would therefore require certain items to successfully do practical examination.
Na say nyame adom ye twes ka kese ye de ato e de ama schools no se be am so exam so betro no o metime nya ho nim de ba ko mienu miensa bi na say nhihye ya oman pani anase government no ye e de support exams no na Akosomo me ana muslim hu sika bisia na mani ade onze o kai me bia e de asimi na mdi twam ye mampani dada wenye ne baby ko ye me fa na kransi ya atamos so kaya pe ntina ya no mbo sika bisia na me hu a ana awon ma dwena wa kwesi o say bi na be mu ya because we sika wa ha 7,800 and say bibiri esa pa na say yenim say na ye na no na confuse o say na it is an numbers na we cheni na iska na it is ka o ma yi de gu o mo de beboa school for the exams na nyame adoma wasi no wabetro no ene ne hyehyɛ ya o mo de gu a o mo hwɛ anim as schools no eba practical side na obi abetimi ane de practical no ye 1 or 2 ye like ye physical da ho a ye nti no na say o sika no nyase bia ye de koma school for no what anya se bia de koma school for but ye de because ne obi se ne an comfort ya nyase bia ye yi sika na to na ye se de kwa koma school for ye de share exams ni mu na omatimi atwerɛtwerɛ ne yie omo so anya nimdeɛ foforo e de aka ho sa na nsɛmete
Yet also our page 3 of the Daily Graphica. Why Supreme Court dismissed suit against voter registration? The Supreme Court has come out with its reason for dismissing 2 legal actions which were challenging the compilation of the new voters register by the Electoral Commission. In a 29-page unanimous judgment delivered by Justice Professor Ashikoti, a 7-member panel of the Apex Court held that there was nothing unconstitutional about the EC's decision to compile a new voters register. Again, the panel, presided over by the Chief Justice, Justice Kwesi Eninieboa, further held that the EC did not breach any law, including the 1992 Constitution, in its decision to exclude existing voter identification cards as one of the documents that will allow a Ghanaian to register in the mass voters registration exercise. According to the court, although the CI is guiding those previous registration exercises stipulated that a registrant must provide proof of eligibility, a Ghanaian who is 18 and of sound mind. The registration officials were instructed by the EC not to make proof of eligibility mandatory. That, the court held, meant there were serious questions and doubts about the legitimacy of the process, which led to the insurance of the old voter registration and identification cards. In view of that, it held that the EC, in deciding to exclude existing voter ID cards as one of the source documents for registration, meant to ensure that only eligible voters could vote.
yani ye say okopiem de na Supreme Court ana omo de ensem ni nya be chichi mu akire say enei na nkofo dwen se bia say fadagam bi na omo ye edefa eye nsema be piem wo court wo efa yisi ne ni se ho nsensem omo de ba say na nei yisi no adwuma wo ye na incident so ani enkosoro kleke kura enti no nka ye makwan ma mo fa odun ano enka ye new one be no ye nye no the way say obi be register obetimi di odun ano enso be register na I don't know mo bon nsem nyina tugu na no ma chechire mu nne a kire say womo anim say emra no e kire say ne say ko enti no mo de mra no na ye adwuma na womo e make sure say emra no so be ye adwuma Tini yisi no de omuma yisi no kwan so onkonko ye n'adwuma na o make sure say obi biara wanya 18 years na na adwene mu eda ho no ono so betimi register na afọ no so abaye part say obetimi ato aba a kire na adwene say yenyi wei anase ma wei na emedi aban ne so wate ase nti na say yisi no a cheche mu ne fine say enye say bia eye bi na omo pe but omo pe so mu hu de ade a na ewo mu a ebeboa say say the way na register ebe nti omo gidie say the eye passport no any other ones be can only the register ebeboa dan say bi ebekofa old one no na aye na beka ho ati ase but me ho me shada no manya adwene sa me ni passport me ni Ghana card na ase me nkofo be Ghana ntam nipa no ba unim se metimi akofo bia sa be
Debbie, usofo bia na almost say it is against the law. Say obi be guarantee ama onye busuani.
Obede hu.
Eno mu be hu. Nipa otimi guarantee ma e obusuani na me ne wonama me obusuani.
Me ba unim se Ghana card no. Omo dido na omo ye na enye busuafo.
And do no guarantee and dem nye busuani.
It is also me fa no me ya. What the difference between no?
Say eno ne yepese approve say o ye Ghana ni Ghana card ni yepese approve say o ye Ghana.
Me ba also pursue prove say me Ghana ni. Nipa ogina ma me no enye me nua enye me baby me hwe. Or just
Debbie say NIA rules, any EC rules in yepe.
And as me fa no register. Ti o. Me ma sam ne say wo me fa no register. I don't know me dey be register no. Any say wo ka chance me ma obi a onye me busuani enye ma me no. Difference be no.
Difference who?
Difference in him because nipa no oyema me nya Ghana card no. Yet the same as on one never be obetimi ayama me amaye me
sisi ano isi se ono ne mra mu ne se ebia NIA na pene so ma omo nya ebusuafo ye ono isi ni do ono on pene so sa against the law constitution ni musa
nanke so mo pene so ma ye de Ghana card so register
send na chere so ye Ghana ni tin Ghana card
na omo Ghana ntima me no omo nya Ghana for
yes what is them so your page 5 inside Africa. Zambian president denies funding Rwanda rebels. Zambia's president, Edgar Lungu, has denied accusations that he was bankrolling a Rwanda rebel group whose spokesman is facing trial for attacks in Rwanda in 2018 that left scores dead. The former spokesman, Kalis Nsambimana, told the Rwandan High Court last Monday that President Lungu had promised his National Liberation Front some $1 million to help topple the Rwandan government. He said President Lungu had made a down payment of $150,000 to support rebel attacks, but President Lungu's spokesperson said the allegations were false and should be treated with contempt they deserve. The people of Zambia and Rwanda continue to enjoy strong and fraternal relations founded on mutual respect. Mr. Nsambimana said facing 17 charges, Rwanda's newspaper has claimed. They include the formation of an illegal militia group, taking part in terrorist activities, killing, kidnapping, and denying and undermining the 1994 genocide. Mr. Nsambimana has denied some of the charges, including being a leader of the rebel group.
Na Akosomo oba no onum tin bia na.
Debbie.
Ofu mu din de ota bobo no anum tin a ahwe abeka kansam ayenka ho. Enti na yese because idin na gugu mani wa ha se no enye din a yese onum tin bi ana wunya lemo bi nunum gu mu nya sa enti ya se wo ugo pie mu ewo eye Zimbabwe ane Zambia Zambia and Rwanda there. I say any omo president ne spokesman and I say allegation abeda ho ne say omo ehyehyase and omo ni womo omo kutia kromofo no enso edi e ba say rabo for eto omo a entokwa to trust them see yin repu nkrofo yesesa nkofo nkosie na yema omawofo bitu esika ansana womo aba be form ma no no busuafo no na say mpanifo ena ehyehyase a womo eyesa a wohwemo ne say omo yisika be say 1 billion omo dia ma nkofo no so asa omo na hyehyase intino na say kromo the two countries no ani biraba because nkofo no din samoni wo kromo a ha adwene abro mo adwene mo nti ase so na so no yebobo mu na say ɔmo kasamanfoɔ no abɛkyerɛ sɛ nyɛ nokorɛ ɔmo nyɛ biribi asa ɛnyɛ nokorɛ enim sɛ ɔmo nso ɛde saa nhyehyɛ no ɛto wɔ enti no na yɛ sɛ ɔmo deɛ ɔmo kyerɛ mu ano sɛ ɔmo kora ɔmo nim ho hwee ɔmo nso ɛnka hwee enti no na yɛ sɛ wote saa nsɛm bi saa no abɔ to agu ɛyɛ bosirimka ɛna mpanimfoɔ anaasɛ nkɔfoɔ ɛde to ɔmo so.
Yet also our page 7 editorial. Police must mend bridge between Bewa Palace. Chiefs continue to play symbolic cultural roles in most African countries, and over the years, those roles have undergone transformation. They have become informal administrators and points of liaison between local communities and state institutions. In Ghana, chiefs are regarded as the embodiment of values, traditions, and authority in communities. However, these noble roles are now being watered down by urbanization, modernization, and commodification. However, it will be unacceptable to regard chiefs merely as residues of a bygone era. Chiefs survive not only in rural communities, but also hold positions in the governance networks of rapidly growing cities. We are concerned about this unfortunate development, and it is our hope that the issue will be resolved amicably without negatively impacting on the goodwill and the respect that exists between the Gbewa Palace and the police administration. The crux of the matter is that policing is a shared responsibility, and so the police need the support of the citizenry in the discharge of their duties and vice versa. A strong relationship of mutual trust and cooperation between the police and communities is a sine qua non for safety and peace in any community.
Edi anaasɛ dɛ.
Sine qua non. Sine qua non a law term. A lawyer for boss.
Sine qua non. Ayi lawyer for so mekunipo. Otibu ati kopie mu okota. Na where the biom the born. Otu anu adwuma you say nyi. Na bisa on say na we kura ekaga na ye kasa ho ana.
Latin.
Latin o. Man call Latin school ntino. Over enche mi dira say e wo kohwe mu dia Gbewa palace no na disi ade ehia beto say police for no montimi no mokọ ensa to ensa no eye communication no no enumbom eye adwuma because oba Ghana ha uta Africans no ya hemfo no enso ene eye adwuma no ebom ne eche adwuma no pepepepe enti no na say omo so de ato say a police for ni mo ekọ hand to hand kakra na community no so mutimi bom ho ban na community na nkasa mu no so kra no wo man nkasa so timi eni a police for no enyonkofa no eye sonko because oba Ghana ha de ya hemfo no wo so ewo tumi pa eba se tumi dia wo so ewo bi o ka mu a eye yie nti na a police for no mo ka bom na wo nyom ye adwuma se de be ya asem bi ba na se bi o mo pese mo bi o mo gina mu no mo so to ne ba ko ni no a wo so ebetimi ato sa enema no nti no esa police for no so hwe na adwuma no wo mutimi eye no ne ahemfo no timi bom eye adwuma na eye fine.
On page 13 of the Daily Graphic, YEA provides lifeline to women footballers. In this coronavirus era, which has negatively impacted economics, any support to make life bearable is a big relief to the beneficiary. And that is exactly the reaction to the decision by the Youth Empowerment Agency to provide financial support to some 1,000 sportsmen and women for the next 6 months. Of the 1,000 people, it is significant to note that 500 young ladies who play in the Women's Premier League will benefit directly from this intervention, bringing a huge sign of relief not only to these players but their clubs that have had to bear the burden of providing for the girls. For the next 6 months, these female footballers, along with 500 other national athletes, will receive 500 Ghana cedis each to cushion them against the impact of the pandemic, which has denied them the opportunity to earn allowances and bonuses from their events. The chairperson of the Women's Premier League Management Committee, Mrs. Hilary Boateng, hailed the decision as a big deal for women football, saying it was not just the gesture but the quantum of money being given out. Most of the clubs run on the benevolence of some individuals who also have to provide support for the players, in addition to funding the activities of the club. Getting this support for the players will greatly ease the financial burden of these club owners, which will enable them to put resources together to meet the needs of the club.
Na say ko pima we eye football.
Na wodie mu.
We de me die mu. Na no kra me di ka me tire mu kire o. Na wohwe mu dia na si ade mpenfo aye hyehyɛ sɛ ɔmo so betumi atua sika sɔbɔ di ama no. Be ya da bia me ka sɛ ma football no ye mo entu ɔmo ka nti ma ne fa ne difficult na ɔmo atumi survive e wo football mu. Enti no na die na sɛ abriwa yikum epoma kwan mu ama ma no so ate dende. Na no e na mpenfo a ketokragu ene na administration no ekohu eye YEA eye youth employment agency for no opini Samuel Wukumu eda no ono na chairman edema no na so mkohu mkohia no ye meeting de mu odene say ema football no mu hia sika na other athletics no no so ehia sika enti na die na say no ema na te denne omo nyame adom 6 months bitimi ammo allowance kakra any other athletics a omo so ewo mu a omo so benya omo de kakra na ene omo timi anya bidi adidi because COVID-19 enima nkoyi mema no kura no mu su na ma no memma yi a omo kura ne bi mu kura age ahe ebi nge 10 million 20 million 50 million 5 million omo kura na esu na ema ye ma omo kapre most na na hwem pa de na say eye unze eye na police ladies no and immigration lady for no there omo kojo omo koje akatua ewo eye the government no ho because omo ye adwuma yes omo ye adwuma de ma police some are police for na and immigration et omo kojo makatua ni from eye adwuma no omo ye nim et eye no omo opportunity but say Azaka's ladies fabulous ladies mo any helpers ladies money ade na tamalefon omo nya hwe
Jomo bokeke
kwatrekwa ebia team no na like munya kakra bi no ma chacha na mo dia fine but say bia ye tuo mo ka say de mo nya katua ito mbo no wie saa o iti we wo ba ba da aka chan so nkobo
kind be no cry so on to aso
eno so ayekobo world cup yekobo African cup ye ba o musika ese de mo ye mfa mo iti we aba be ya ade kese de mo ma utimi say say omo chairman na oda no nani age say we dey a great deal admire say yes any opportunity be say e be nye ska akada support mayo no ama mayo na omo ma edi ball no say ade omo da ne mate nim say man be brother ne mate
ma me hu ma mate be
footballers be be wo
sa
ye black queens ni black princess
oh my yes you pon mo asem ka kese pa
na enyame adom a ye behwe na ya peman dia be sinkonya na eno matena se adwendwen ho ya hwe kwa mfa so ampirifo so betimi amkom fully where 6 months na so a ye bisa sa din bi be si because enye only one day pen on the ball no da bia ambo enti say 6 months na end dia what next e be dis ankom
Yet also our page 17 NDC launches Operation Protect Your Polling Station in Savannah region. The Savannah Regional Secretariat of the Opposition National Democratic Congress has launched what it terms Operation Protect Your Polling Station. This is to ensure that no stranger gets his or her name onto the new voter registration in the ongoing voters registration exercise in the Savannah region, especially in the Damango and Daboyamankarigu constituencies where the NDC is alleging that strangers are being transported there to register. The party also said the move was to stand against an alleged intimidation of its party agents deployed to the various registration centers to monitor the exercise by some fake national security operatives. The overlord of the Gonja traditional area, Yagbonrura Tumtumba Boresa I, is said to have also summoned the leadership of the various political parties, especially MPP and the NDC, to his palace in Damango to discuss matters of security in the Damango constituency in the ongoing registration exercise that has generated tension in the area. Damango, aside being the capital of the newly created Savannah region, it is also the traditional seat of the Gonja traditional area.
Let's go more Savannah region. Yeah, let's say and some na eba ne say NDC for one more edition share gu akwan mu o. Isi adom say hey operation save your police station. Hey Ghana the who protect you police station na say you or say we make sure say adwuma because I'm say omo tena se egu say okopie mo Savannah Bridge dia na say MPP for no I mean kan sa wo eskin nkrofo do mu wura mu na say no ho nsem no enti no omo say omo campaign we dey serious one pa say police station bia no obi bia no wo ho a wo ye NDC ni no as I say we make sure say you protect that place wo bo ho ban wo do na esi from wo do go promote no esi from pampen na wo ye ina nya sankito Ghana da bia so le yetinsem
Yebe ensembe ba abato mu Ghana for yebe.
Na say na de on say anytime dey register ye to aba ye ko check edin ye twa edin sa ne mane de duru sa na eya na Ghana ye buja we kwa de nya hu hwiu wo de nyambotra na ye nwura August November said ya said the time na ba be so say be to aba no ana abetie allegations hu ahodo say ye din nsem to nkofo ayayaya ni me de me ya ne say ensem trofo e be bo mo no ho na ya na me dwene
Se no eke adwuma ne ho esese abu.
Ese ya bu ya ho na nze minim say o check some TV station bi akwa bi teti bi ma eye ensem trofo kubatan no what did mo mo let me ntimi nkan wa ha o so power mo we say yes.
Yet also our page 18 of the Daily Graphic. Baumia has changed politics in Zongos. Office of National Chief Imam. The Office of the National Chief Imam says it has observed the changes parting of politics in the Zongo ever since Dr. Baumia assumed office as Vice President. In a Facebook post to express gratitude to Dr. Baumia for his show of respect to the National Chief Imam for officially visiting him to inform him of his renomination as running mate of the Office of the National Chief Imam, commended the Vice President for transforming politics in the Zongos to the development-based endeavor. The Zongo communities of today are no longer interested in receiving bags of rice, sugar, and some material things during festive seasons, but rather scholarships, employment for its graduates, vocational skills for its dropouts, and entrepreneurship empowerment trainings that will translate into development for the communities.
Yes, Baumia, adwuma pa oye e de am oman kronkron Ghana na Zongo community ni mpanifo e wo mu no born na baso na as a chief of imam unse Zongo for no de o mpani ba ha eti no mo no na betise na aka asem bia na asre ndi na yo asre ho
Almost say afi omunya sugar ni butter ni emu ni bi sa afi bia so a omu bedi o ma fashion na nkofo ko so ma o say oh energy sugar yi oh energy emu yi di anwen o sa afi die ba o mi aba enya de omunya emu ni omunya de ebeba omo kuo no etumpon
amunya
scholarship
na ebebo am so motimi akomanim eti ba omi ana yesi ade Zongo fo no bona omo bo mabaso wo mo se yesi anu wasesa politics ni pra eba Zongo level na wasesa no ene ba se ye ma egale ni sugar ne nkate ni brodo dia ye ya da bi esi ade ejai sa ne ma no e de awi awura bibi different mu na ese ne ye ma bodin kracha won so ubetimi e de akoba bia schools ni ade na ese wunya sa de ndia na ese wo ne nei udem kra atase ese sa na ensemble
Your page 20. Stop minister from pressurizing GBC to shut down channels. Minority urges National Media Commission. The minority in Parliament has urged the National Media Commission to stop any move by the Communications Minister to pressurize the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation to shut down 3 of its channels to create more space on the National Digital Terrestrial Television platform within 60 days. It is said Mrs. Esla Akufo-Owusu had no authority or mandate to write to the Director General of the state broadcaster to close down the 3 channels, since GBC was an agency under the Ministry of Information. We believe that the NMC must at this point in time establish the fact that it is not a toothless bulldog and call the Minister of Communication to order. It is critical for us to, at this juncture, be faced with a process in which the only platform for broadcasting to be the populace is used up, and so It just makes sense without reading any ulterior motives into it. The work and the create additional capacity on it in the event the capacity is needed. She added that based on a meeting she had with the management of GBC and Crystal TV on June 24, 2020, it was made clear that they were the only two broadcasters that had multiple channels on the DTT platform, which were carried free by the state. And we do not think that it is any efficient to use scarce resource. We indicated to them that they should look at ways of consolidating their programming and use half of the channels they currently occupy to project their programming to the world.
The TV station been increasing.
On car say you close no.
Na
Some say GBC say omo wo bear 5, GBC 24, GBC Sports Plus, and san no ma wo Obonu. Omo wo bear 4 internet edosu. Egi space e wo digital channels nso na nke be ya omo station ni bi omo yi bi fi omo fa bi nko she bi mu te bi say GBC 24 ene de nkola ne channel ne be sha yemfa nhye e ho ne de sports ne so be sha yemfa nhye ne enja e bi Obonu any GBC na mo no pe na Crystal for nso some wo prime extra any ba kono nti omo nya den omo fa ni na nhye nti say bi omo de ni abehye Crystal TV extra ni mo omo fa nhye omo yi sini kakra na ma bonyum kakra na omo maka na bia bebre susu wo ho no ma omo person be create channels ni bi but omo ka space ni ho me dey say usto ma me obe 500 ebi krama
oba omo nya san sem no boka me ne omo ya adwene say they omo stop sa pressure no omo ye what kind of pressure be that? Let me tell you one thing. I'm tell wade ba ko ni o si obi say e say anim so bo next me problem ni say asofo no mati TV stations na ye mfa nya adwuma no omo de ontimi kan nyam so stop. GBC are using their TV station. Omo de ye adwuma sa de tie. Obonu e kan ye adwuma e serve Ghana for. Friend say GTV Sports Plus ye adwuma. GTV ankasa ye adwuma. GTV that sa GTV sa 24 gram hu na che. Any GTV unu say government cry say hu sa the government ache. It
omo the government share 24.
Nice one. Me say omo kan say asofo TV station mo bi na omo fa nya hwe a. Obi timi kuta bear 5 TV stations. Ni nyina odi preach e di yi movies. Almost I no catch them say no ye fa say semu dia. Me no ya adwene. Na wo na wo pass me no. Na we ye kama na ye. Obo 40 na me nka obo 40 TV stations yes 5. Ni nyina onya onfa nya adwuma. Enkola gufi omo nya adwuma nye. Anka ni se ni ade. Ye bia di ato amom say omo fa nya adwuma. Obi nim kuta 2.
Obi ni de na say weja ba ku.
Weja ba ku. Ade ma hwan.
Ya lucky minim omo emma so bi.
Kuma bebre kuta TV station be 3 or 4 e wo Ghana. Ti ahwe TV station e wo Ghana. Na wo bie o digital no satellite na be de wo ho. Utim say first ne number 200 and something, number 400. But obie bi gu. Mu nka no ho asem na GBC for ni we mu de na beka. Omo asofo no ma bie mu de.
So ohwe mu no omo mienu and omo stations doors omo mienu na.
Nti omo hu obo for de.
Obo for de say mienu pe.
Una ka wo. Oh sweet, or cash, or Zion. Share.
And there be sweet ni cash na pe na aka mense.
Share. Ene ya check here. Share. Ya kan ye adwuma pa. Ye adwuma in secret.
Your page 21 provides segregated data on COVID-19 among children. A child-centered organization, Child Rights International, has called on the Ghana Health Service to provide segregated data on the behavior patterns of coronavirus among Ghanaian children. The move, according to the organization, would position Ghana in designing the right strategy required to manage coronavirus among children within the public space. CRI said it would also inform public policies, particularly regarding reopening of schools on mass level and steps required to ensure protection of children in the process. Since the inception of COVID-19 in the country, Ghana has not carried out any medical research on children in order to understand the behavior patterns of the virus among children. Overall, the statement said the evidence gathered by developed nations suggested that children have a limited role in the transmission and spreading of COVID-19. Per the statement of the CRI, COVID-19 is a public health issue. Therefore, actions and inactions of state institutions must be informed by evidence so that behavior of authorities are not born out of speculations and myth.
Enye easy o. COVID-19. The odi ba Ghana no afakoye say challenge pa ana odi be pie mu e wo Ghana. No ba unu say me ya na de me ameka say nkwala de nkwala so mo che ya lewe no e wo so pa. Na say penny. Because penny de onim say nya de ya say ye chia. You see if you minka da me chia ba kwala de onim say ye chia. Anase ma ye chia. Obetimi aso nyonko nsa. Obetimi aso nyonko che say baby a yesa so kro be so nose mask ye show mkra um pinse bi didi aguru bi
Mami show de ne kakra
e wo de efo colors gbom ye mami show de ni bi na jeme de ne hye what they say it has penifo nya ade bi ye bibi a ebetimi aboa mo yetimi abon kwala na oban na yetimi proceed se be ya kwala ne so daach betimi aboa because kwala daach no ana hia dan say ye say ya bon kwala bi abi yesi ye obese me na bi na kana say meti ye meji na bi ewu
Yako page 28, new rent control bill in the offing. The government is to replace the existing Rent Act with a new bill to help address some of the challenges in the housing sector of the country, the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, has said. The new bill will be realized after a policy framework on rent issues has been developed and submitted to the Cabinet and subsequently to Parliament for approval. Dr. Bawumia said the replacement of the Rent Act of Ghana, Act 220, which was passed in 1963, with a new rent control bill, formed part by measures the government to ensure sanity in the sector. He said work on a permanent office structure for the department in Accra was about 25% complete. He said the department could not pay its rent as well as refuse collection fee, which is currently in arrears of 1,500 Ghana cedis. The manager appealed for the compliance fee to be adjusted from 9 cedis to 50 Ghana cedis.
me say apa de kra hey there bia ni munsem ba unu say no muslim ya na base bi say no mu de koto o mu kopie mo parliament bo a obehwe wan ya about to agu bo abo nse nei o kubeko ya na yesi o na weni winti na ebi nso na de na ye de kono so hia ebi na beboa ebema ye division na timi akọ nanim abehwe mi na ya about to agu ye hwe say eyesa bi we o mu de bekoyi at least ebetimi ye adwuma ama enema nyina aye fine. I'm thinking
Page 28. Lower Menya GES trained teachers on COVID-19. The Lower Menya Krobo Municipality Directorate of the Ghana Education Service has organized a day's workshop for heads of both public and private senior high school and basic schools in the municipality on COVID-19. The training was jointly sponsored by the Manya Krobo COVID-19 Emergency Fund, the Ghana Health Service, and the Kpong Ensign College of Public Health. The workshop was to equip the heads of the educational institutions in the municipality on the safety protocols for the prevention of the COVID-19 pandemic. The heads are to share the information with the rest of the teachers in their various schools for them to also pass it down to the learners. The headmistress of the Krobo Girls Senior High School, Mrs. Betty Eduhene, who chaired the program, said the COVID-19 pandemic was becoming more complex and urged all heads of their education on the safety protocols.
Yes, Krobo, Menya Krobo, and I say, nay, I just want ya show me a chance, and ye church room. Kwan befa so omuso betimi ahwe omuso yi na yi betimi so akyerɛkyerɛ ada akyerɛkyerɛfo a wɔn ɛwɔ krobo hɔ na afi COVID-19 sɛ de ne ɛyɛ agye nsɛm a tese yehu anu so yi wɔn so atimi akyerɛkyerɛ wɔn akyerɛkyerɛ kwala no de wi wɔn bɛbɔ wɔn ho ban wɔn nose mask ne ade it na sɛ we very good adwuma a tese mpanyinfoɔ ɛfa so na nyɛ da bia ne bɛtena TV so nyɛ da bia ne bɛfa asi a enti churches for na wɔn nso betumi akyerɛ wɔn aka no ama wɔn nso atumi ayɛ adwuma no I think say we bɛboa because yɛsi yɛbɔ dawuro aboa ma yɛtumi saa sɛ yɛti a yɛka sɛ enye obia na oduru a oh de akora
de bia no ana maka aka de be ne na aboa
sa enti e chi omo tena ase ayi church we fato ha fa we esia fa we sha ha sa eno boa o e ma omo so hu itokodu school wo no bi nya ohoro nsa na ogina ho na odene unim say those days ni ko yes yen ko ohoro yensa me kai ne ye bodawuro ohoro nsa fasamina o ka sa nyu ohoro nsa fasamina kan eti se nei sa akoba se COVID-19 aba ama se ohoro yensa dia esi ohoro yensa ena na me ohoro me nsa ohoro me se me say we need sir oh because maybe we also so mu a na onsa ho efi nti ene ye de eno be kan COVID-19 na boa ye ama se sia mini se ye na COVID-19 nko no ya yensa na ohoro no abe
obi person say ohoro enehi ni wiase obae onye aduane pa na ohoro no nsa COVID-19 by 5 minutes bia mo so ohoro no nsa nti ni nye ho
bagana for NTS say yale we no 5 years eno betimi aso ano
so almost omo wo hwe
na say no omo hwe o
omo nya hwe
omo hwe o omo na say no kra no na say
omo nya hwe o
say 5 years was me say no say 4 to 5
omo hwe estimation
eti be ohoro yensa sa for 5 good years
5 years straight or say almost a decade nti e can go 10 years page 29 prioritize human trafficking to save lives. The head of the anti-human trafficking unit of the Ghana Police Service, Superintendent Mike Ban, has called on the government and stakeholders to prioritize issues of human trafficking to save the lives of innocent people who fall victim to the criminal activity. He described human trafficking as a hidden crime, which was negatively affecting the society, and some drastic measures must be taken to eliminate it completely. Dr. Zakaria noted that the workshop was necessary as there were frequent transfer requirements and promotions of officers in the various law enforcement agencies working on human trafficking and migrant smuggling. As recommended in the 2020 Trafficking in Person report published by the U.S. Department of Labor in June, the Human Trafficking Secretariat was to provide advanced training to law enforcement agencies on surveillance and evidence collection on trafficking cases. This training, therefore, serves as a build-up towards that to improve the technical understanding of our officers on trafficking issues.
Yes, you see, I did say ye training, you training for say because I need training for because I say training for who and yam back me no meet me afaso, they me aje innocent people, omo a womu in omo need for asemi mu and I say bi obi onim hwe obi onam ba bi odwene ho na obi ato ahye ne so na ene de one ne edi asia ne sa nti I think say ebeboa pa ma enema so atimi akoso ɛyɛ asɛm o ɛyɛ adwuma kɛseɛ ɛyɛ adwuma kɛseɛ paa ɛyɛ adwuma kɛseɛ a ɛko ɛden editia nka think sɛ akyerɛkyerɛ yi ɛbɛkɔ so ama nneɛma nso atumi ayɛ fine ɛde ama yɛn eti no ɔba ɛmu hu sɛ ɛbɛboa paa.
Yɛkɔ page 30. Yo, dear, do I have quite a job from crats or your bape technical issues? Can be a quite a job from crats or your bapa. They did a bon cratamus and seminal ever twice.
Are you worried about your security? Are you able to access and protect your property and the people you care about? With an increased height in robbery and kidnapping, you should not compromise on your security. Global Sky Limited, your total security solution, is here to help you secure your office and residence.
Alright, my name is Nesta Lenas. I'm the General Manager of the company, Global Sky Security Limited. Global Sky Security Limited, we are an international security company which we specialize in providing security services to various individuals or corporate organizations. When we talk of security systems, namely CCTV, access control device, electrical fence, tracking device, and security man guard officers as well.
The control room is designed in a way that we have radios, a VCR radio there, which monitors our vehicles when they go out for day and night patrols, just to receive first-hand information from supervisors and the team who go out for that patrol.
With the ICT part of the services that we're going to talk about, the CCTV security systems, the access control systems, tracking device systems, biometric door lock systems, and many more. So when we talk about the ICT part, that is the ICT part of the company. We specialize in what I've mentioned earlier. And when you talk about the physical aspect, that has to do with the professional man guard security services. These are professional guards who recruit. We do background check on them. We do profiling on them. We actually train them on two things: theory part and the physical part. Theory part for them to know how to work with people, human relations, and also when it comes to the physical part, how to defend them. To defend themselves in terms of a robbery or an attack. So, long story short, basically those are the two things that the company provides.
For more information, call 0302 522 503 or 0264 363 125. You can also visit www.globalskyafrica.com. Global Sky, someone is always watching.
Emma wakwaba morning break jumedie na etwa so no aye ne mfidie na eye adwuma ntino eya na mo de ache kakra se mfidie no ho tochima. Sir Charles.
Yes, sir.
Daily Graphic na egusu wo mu.
You
Etwa so ewo page 31 of the Daily Graphic. President commended for granting amnesty to prisoners. Amnesty International Ghana has commended President Akufo-Addo for granting amnesty to 794 prisoners in a move to decongest the prisons and prevent the spread of COVID-19. Having the president grant amnesty to prisoners at this time of a pandemic is not only a good thing, but a critical step to ensure limited spread of COVID-19 in the prisons. It also shows Ghana's commitment to work towards decongesting our already overcrowded prisons, the director of Amnesty International Ghana, Mr. Robert Akosomo, said. Human rights activists around the world have called on all countries to introduce measures to protect the global population of prison inmates from COVID-19. The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Michelle Bachelet, has also encouraged governments to reduce the number of prison inmates in overcrowded jails by introducing amnesties. Sir Charles, Abaye Tima Komua akoyi nipa 794 if in prison. Say COVID-19, if Ghana ye prison a too why ni more? A prison e fa nipa 50, obeko sisi ano. Na edan na fa 50 no. Na nipa edam e 250. 200 awa beka ho. Na president ene mehwe wasan 794 if ye prisons, Mr. Charles.
On say Ghana near one. I think say enye COVID-19 ntina say mawe. What I say ye di unze ye si prison we are near Ghana side yes wo.
No dey. Ye try nkromfo na madam.
So madam, nice one. Me na ma dia me ye ne say hwe o se ye si dan e de si wo. Ye say the prisoners be gum. Say the prisoners be gum dia, e say ye na dia at least. Nipa no aye bone de, but eno so nkyere say koye chese kokomia na mane anything po.
Saa asɛm na dan na meka sɛ obi tumi kɔ wi akoko anaasɛ brɔde ne ama 3 years in prison. Obi sa no mfata prison. Ya kwan ho ayɛ fi yɛ nkɔfɔ no mpia ɔtɔn no to ɔkyerɛ na ɔde na si kwan no so. Pra bosomi nsia. Bosomi nsia ne bɛso na obi foforɔ so awi abrɔde.
Na ɔdo no so ato so. Etimi ma ye adwuma na firi akosi ya no. Ye make sure say every day bia no e de ne kɔ. Ye ba no ɔno onye nsɛm.
Me ye njai sɛ ɔmo aka mo me fi prison na bosomi bia na ye yi ba ko. There be obi awi akoko, we anantwie, we apapo, entene ntum.
Ɔno onye nsɛm. Onye nsɛm.
Because we 3 years now the man okoba oni adwuma bi aye obesan koto aso.
Dem ya kura nse omo no so kura ye mpehwe adwuma bi ama omo nyi. Ah wokɔ European countries ya. Omo di bɔne anka sɛ ye serious no. Ye oba bi adu omo kɔto.
Ebi kura sua ade enya certificate.
Omo kura ne ye mfa mo man kuro ni mu. Ye no kɔ chiri e do makɔto ye training wom. Na omo a wo mu wi a petit things ni ti sɛ ohwim obi fo ofo obi ono obi kunye no e do makɔto eti wo mu no so kura ye san training ye wie so ya san kura ye den asa de omo fane ba ku ni nsam Ghana ba bia afu ye omiamia ba bia afufu omo na yeso me yesa adwuma
no odo wo sei na kama mo wa betim
sa emu ye sei fi poto ye hospital de bire ho ye fi mu de magumu no ma koprapra ofiri mu fi a obesu nyansa but wo mu na ne asa so mu ne dem ko bu ensan prison
eno na ma ho no
na ehwa ye na aburo so mezi bu obekọ no ahyehyom se sardine
we ti wa ha na we 9 eda otinchen na we ti eda o 9 chen sa na ebe
nti nipa no ojai mu a
ojai wa na eno ye kunu
wunya.
Page 35 of the Daily Graphic. Street litter bin program. 7 regions receive 5,100 receptacles, 3,000 more for distribution. The Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources has distributed 5,100 litter bins as part of its street litter bin program to control public littering in selected metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies in the Ashanti, Central, Greater Accra, Northern, Oti, Volta, and Western regions. An additional 3,000 bins are currently being deployed, out of which 600 have been donated to the Ministry of Defense for distribution to the armed forces, and 400 bins to the Ministry of Interior for distribution to other security services. Meanwhile, Mrs. Dapa disclosed that the government spent a total of 223,936,271 Ghana cedis from April to June 2020 on the provision of free water for the citizenry to lessen the impact of COVID-19 as directed by President Akufo-Addo. This includes the installation of tanks to supply water to approximately 750,000 vulnerable and poor across the various regions, as well as the supply of free water to existing domestic customers of the Ghana Water Company Limited and water tanker services during the 3 months period.
Yes, already
And some I can say Yenchum Mukrum, Omum Prapra. And sanitation ministers also see and will die 5,100 bins. As the crown, Onumusu Afatu. We say Afatu Ghana said that Nanado Sobe Ghana, one of the cleanest cities in Africa in the world as such. No, Amana ye.
Only my dear Bacon woman, as a Ghana for a new penny for a day, he said. Say, be near ma, Omunkofa.
I shall say no more.
Mrs. Be near ma, Omunkofa. Because your country, we move this country, and near woman, baby, beat me, young ma, a busso, not in Murano, or Coran, the Simon out of him, or the Simon out of him. Oh, now, what like you in the Mubasa? It must say, oh, you a young man, who making sure she be for free. Now, yet a back with empty. Said by ya, obi think to more or no to be too. Because I am a nice wa. Anybody do not at all for one, on fun to or better form. Because when you go to my best out of form, it in all my manner is so easy, man. Now, yes, so simple.
Now, sanitation minister say almost spending 233 million. It was so fee April to June. Come on, another car say free.
Almost spend day.
I won't see on Kwan say, oh, my Ghana Water Company change you will be here for 3 months. Now, oh, my baby, and a pipe so soon, you know, my water tankers, almost fill tankers now. Na tankers na kohonom. Na ko supply o nsuo.
Nti my question is say, time na enye free no. No almost spend the same.
Say enye free na ni etua.
Oni mi say bebre na bebre ntua.
Oh, eno de.
Nti it like you this country I have a what I want to say. On say anytime you be opportunity bia e be say hit on that opportunity. And I hear trend there wo obia person hit on that opportunity. Me I'm a free man, so I talk my free sense. Anytime bia Ghana e be opportunity bia obi penny bia any opportunity a person hit it. Asem we wukin. Nchira say anything. What I say? Oh, what issue just within the 3 months. Now what's when say
200.
any 1 year there.
Yet one this one, our page 37. We can't bear new taxes. Importers fret over 3.59 billion Ghana cedis revenue hole. Importers are convinced that the country will suffer a revenue shortfall this year, but fear that the government will turn to the usual victim, new taxes, in this attempt to narrow the gap. At a time when the raging novel coronavirus disease has weakened demand continuously, threatening the survival of businesses, the trading communities said any attempt to use new or additional taxes to boost revenue would be a nightmare to businesses. They have therefore called on the government to use the mid-year budget review due later this month to announce a comprehensive policy that will meaningfully expand the tax net to help increase revenue collection.
Eba na eyo.
Tax.
Unu say
So me be aye too.
Unu say ade bia manije kan Japan kasa sim. O say odi niam afra brochire ba. Niam na okotoy no eye almost advance bia be 400 million. And odi ni man eba. Na so ba no tua 800 million na. Aba so chere say adwuma na oye no. O fa so be no nyam film.
Wanya hwe.
Wasan boka. Wasan kran asan de another just na almost on number 12,000. Na yen hwa de bu ha say COVID-19 bere ya enuma samaye basa si one thing na se nipa no metua tax obedi ya survive because e bia nema na ode ba kra no nema na esen ya obi okra ba kofa bi de o Ghana ha na onsa metua ho tax yes rempeni for we de esre
omu de abato se nya de ombeti
omuntini
bayin hwe no mpe bibi nka emfa ho
omunyin free so simple na for within this year no yen pegi wom no yen free so no bia ntran kakra next year no ene ya wo de agi nipa na no kwa betimi abon twice we I advise in that time na abon twice
so I say Ghana for ya na e be san ka mo say
Ghana penny for no munim kwa mfa so mitimi aprakadam.
Yeah, twice our page 39, showbiz, entertainment and seminar PMO page 39 of the Daily Graphic and Babatuje. Movies with good storylines, the way to go. Sleepopo. Hey, brain. Having admitted the local movie industry has declined, Kumawood actor Sylvester Japon, popularly known as Sleepopo, says films with good storylines will help relieve the sector. All is not lost. We have to pay attention to details and do movies that have great storylines. I believe when we do that, the industry will bounce back and things will be better for all stakeholders. After that, I went to an audition at Miracle Films and got the chance to star in Abroni Bay Year 4. God bless Mr. Samuel Kwesi Nyameche of Miracle Films for the opportunity. Sleepo had some advice for young people who want to go into the movie industry. We don't shoot movies like we used to do in the past. Finish your education, then you can think of the movie industry. You can even become a star through social media without necessarily being an actor. This is a storyline, yeah. And you bet mama industry na say pigeon movie. Na yeka storyline say me and wa twuma adwa kwako si bibi so. Yesi so na film bi ba yenkote film o si chewa. Na mete wo say me ni film na ke bia yi part 1 part 2 part 3. Aburo so aye part 4. Ne ete ho ye hu chewa 1 2, 3, yekoya kodu 11, you say 13.
Omo do 12.
Ekodu 12 film baako. Ni etwa ya kodu to na storyline no wo say edu baby a na afa ni say.
On say wo ye bibi ma na ye too much a. The to aso be ye nonfa. Because 1 2 3 4 odu 5 no na story no ka say end wo ho.
Ope bibi ato aso.
Yes. And omo de besides omo de bi to aso. Ejina so omo sesa storyline. But na on say ade omo nya ne say na ke so omo change di bibi kakra eka ho. On so hwe kunkum ba dia. Edu ba bi na afi na ya aboro so no.
Na ye.
Sa and omo de ba ko beka ho say
kundali magia.
Sa etino on say omo yi kunkum kakra. No mo yi kundali ni kakra. Eti wote ho a na de na me koso kundali ho. Eti wote ho a ye wadwen say me ma hwe bi da. But now just the way I remember of we no mo ka ho asem a. Utimi say the way omo de we ni be ka ho e ma ne be ye de. Eti chewa edu part 5 no. 6 and 7 ya say ba no. Na ese nka so mo nkomu chinyi style no. No di ebia the return of chewa. Ana bibi de ka ho e ma ne sesa. And mo to aso 1 2 3. And I have some stories bua. I say Sakawa 419. Ejaku Sakawa. You see, ye Ghana for your imagine say ubia de ubia no bia ye nyina ye. Hwe Sakawa 419. Ejaku Sakawa since one say Sakawa sika say
Film bi buy. Say Terminator o say den.
Chewa movie bia Terminator.
Na BBC fo nya ho. No mo hwe film yi say na sere.
Na so metwetwe yen.
Say 2014 or say 2020.
Hwe Nigeria for yi movie.
We all lack that storyline now.
Yes.
Yes, see a ditro film no. We who kana yo wo film kwa. We dey emfa Nigeria film. Kana yo na who kana yo na who Peter Dochi. Sango for ni menu share of film say ya. Omo create storyline. Ghana has a kakre bi pe ne create omo storylines. They can deny psychological producers. Omo film na je utna se dream ho. E sa film ni na me mani dream ho ba Ghana has ya. We obi ti say Shelley film Paul Manson, Pascal Amanfo. Omo film wait me the bosume. Na won tell film na say yes wa hwesi.
Abraham Atta movie omo.
Beast of No Nation.
Movie no. The style no omo ye no. Eye me fe. Said the na kasa ne te eye me fe. Be omo sha see free your credit kum. What I say? Story be say no. Say gi award any problem. Now on say ya stories be to the stage say afi once afi say obi kwaji award be esu. Because your movies be say Majid move bi oyi ya no ye ntafo a ba akoko bi ma ekotwa ne say
Somewhere in Africa.
Movie no yi we happen gi award.
Oh, mesin nessa film no me hwe san about 1,000 times me hwe 1,000.
Hwe say no mu ye movie no. Wo de enko olden days. Say no mu ye movies. Ni hwe ye ne ena ya mosi no. Ena na ya no mosi ne ye ka e wo nwuntum no. Bu a on te ase. Obi nka say kofa old story and kofa old ayi. But my storyline no enko with ensem na mobeka o movie. That is it. So we ne sampa adwuma ne ye de. Na you say sikani a one mantem. Na movie na nkasa no de ekoso movie ni mu. Men sikani a mantem.
Akrantian kwan.
Na ya enum ni obi na ya ne ya na oton fufuo na odwene ho antias. Se mo ye comedy a mo nye comedy. Se mo nim se mo ye serious movie a mo nye serious movie. Mo hu se kumasefo no mo nye serious movie.
Oh, bi mu ya ade o.
Ni nyina ya akwakoye.
Kumasi yonko say serious movie.
Serious but
asore ba.
Ganchen.
Yansu ye nyankopon wo su ba
we ebeji di pa.
Aha, ene the daily guide, daily graphic insensem no ebekwa kogu. Na ye betwa so e was the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Na Ghanaian Times omo wade omo ye wo ho a eboa wo corona, ye fight against corona yi. Omo did the do's and don'ts of wearing a face mask eba. Na ene omo the don'ts ne bai. Oronsa na sanitize wonsa ansa na waso nose mask ni. To se men so mask na enim ho na ebia wenim kikawa na wo di nji wenim sei ya ehu enhia. Yeah, shall see our page 3 of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Teenager gets 5 years for causing harm. I know so but Bernard Mona faces Supreme Court July 21. The national chairman of the People's National Convention, PNC, Mr. Bernard Mona, will appear before the Supreme Court on July 21, 2020 to answer charges for the contempt of court filed against him by the Attorney General. The case was scheduled for Tuesday, July 14, but the court could not sit. Mr. Mona was said to have urged Ghanaians at a press conference to disobey the orders of the Supreme Court on June 25, which gave the Electoral Commission the green light to compile a fresh electoral roll without the existing voter identification card. The court further made consequential orders to the effect that the decision of the court affects similar actions which is pending or yet to be filed to any court. The EC has stated that it would compile a new voter register for the presidential and parliamentary elections because the existing register was incurably defective for the purpose. But the NDC, the biggest opposition political party in Ghana, insisted that the exclusion of the existing voter ID card as a form of identification to obtain a new voter ID was unconstitutional. Bernard Mona, osan kopiem koto di kan koy ene yesen tu ni case ni share that ba July 14 aneye enene nansa na asem no mentimi endi ntoma sen tu na share that July 21 na onko team okoka che obe ye di press conference to na no de ba se o Ghana for mamu nkotro mu din ai so mu ndi old voters ID no as identification there and who here say e be kwa kotro e nkra be ye de anu a be kwa koto aba na o tu ni nkrofo for say ano e ho na Supreme Court na say eh bra na wo yan de ya asem aba no una aba kire Ghana for ni ani nti Bernard Mona na wakopie court Charles
na me bo na say oka kire ni manfo wa me kan kire court
baby so one ka ni manfo oya press conference mo
na so nye ni party
in the party, say in the party for any quantity. Press conference mo Ghana for bebreti. Na the party for quantity ya. Who Bernard Mona no who need to mean say Supreme Court. As Supreme Court be kasi menye we oba oga che onko for omonye sa.
Na say e bia me nko fu yi me mama ye say bia ono onye na je so paso oba abem dini no ade ebeja no na court ya okoyi ebe
ya ba monica
so we ko cancer sem ko nu edi wi copy kura ya ntahwa
ni asem ni yenkan wie so na asem ni de egusu kaba
say why you kura di gutu da wie
so no ko African court in run ya sanche na san yes ni case ni ye ni kura
e bia mi e be sa kokko to bi
kwani de be kosa
na say ni e bi say ni
kwani de be kosa say fi 2018
e be kosa ko si
obewu Ose abayinja ne japade no de nsa to so no ntimi nye ska
ga se obi antimi nto e boy di no
sai ni boy din
na wona ekoto yes
obi anya na adwe so obeto mu
amon fan rent e ne bebo
o Kennedy ya obeto onye na adwe so obeto anka ya ye Kennedy anka wato dada yet twice so our page 4 editorial dealing with tags at voter registration centers. The Ghanaian Times on Wednesday carried a story under the headline Students stabbed at Banda Ahinkru, in which a 28-year-old fresh teacher trainee graduate was allegedly being murdered at Banda Ahinkru in the Banda district of the Bono region. He was said to have been attacked and stabbed by thugs believed to be the supporters of the governing New Patriotic Party without any provocation leading to his death. According to the report, it is unclear the reason for the attack, and unconfirmed reports suggest that the unfortunate incident occurred when the victim was returning from Wenchi to Banda. For us to come out with a clean and acceptable register, it is appropriate that the hoodlums are dealt with so that these acts of violence would stop. We also appeal to the political parties to call their supporters to order and disassociate themselves from such violent activities by their supporters in line with their stated undertaking to stop political vigilantism and election-related violence in the country. I say, yeah, daily graphic, you can't catch I feel be say about 2 in some war. And then in saying, Branty, na ofini wenchi eko Banda. Ni awana sekanya kunu. Politics, voter registration exercise nonsense me ya.
Ana make academy make say Ghana na ewu mu no. ye insua de because say MPP ni NDC for omo position edi omo president edi bisa say sika no munya sen na mo de brew ebuntu no kura omo ya sen na wunya bi ana wa ko di sa ni me bechi say abekun nti wuwu a ubonya dan
and I feel 4 years ni about once and say obi kodi mo in fact even never buy elections I also west will go on buy elections I ko bo akwa bi tuo woni name when I wie no
nti no
bebre so ani
wani say woni say
obi so parliamentary primary si ani ye ne nanse ya obi so de ni kotodwe ene ne nice when na ni nice when na atete
yensua de o
ontimi nye campaign for 2020 elections
yensua de o na se we kotokwa na ase ko bona ntokwa si a we are na ono member of parliament no ni mpenifo no mo na atwa mo hasa begina ase na muntu mu nkrofo mu MPP ni nisi omo ntu nkro omo nkwara omo achidifo no fo because adwuma ese nka omo ye da bia na yetri ni nkrofo ye ni si eni si ye ntimi mfa kwa befa so ebetimi nya message dem asa nkrofo yi ukodu police station a comporto ho na nsin ya sei eto dwa na MPP ni omo MPP fo mienu na no mo atwa mo ho ko ba bia ye register nkrofo what is all this up to now client say mpenifo issue a statement say enyimam ye enya na bisi omo keep quiet the next time no obi so ba ko ye bi
Yet also our page 12 of the Ghanaian Times. Listen to scientists in fight against COVID-19. Professor Odro. Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Ebenezer Odro, is urging that much premium is placed on advice given by local scientists in the fight against the COVID-19 surge. According to him, the over-reliance on data generated by the World Health Organization may not augur well in the country's efforts at managing the pandemic, as the virus behaves differently in different settings. Sir Charles.
yes I
Professor Odro so na dey aba say yentie yan ye local scientists in nsema omo beka me for you need to World Health Organization in nsema so e wo mu a ebi wo ha data no kom be man ebi ana enye sa and say the Ghana Health Service e wo mu ana data na failure kakra na eno no the panic and fear aba nti yentie the scientists local scientists no e wo a omo de be man
the okan dem ne ya adwene pa efi say ye tie de Ghana yankasa ye di mu a on se bia me ka say ye di mu ni ye because ono oburo ni na ono be ka na de no ono no all resource na de come now and ono aka ye the resource ne to online a no manya bi aka de aka omo krofo ewu no manya bi ho oni any data bi e ba Ghana ha be research dia man ata say etini ye na ha say ye kasa e say ye manfo ni tie ye dan say ye be ka so na abrofo ni say ni dem omo de omo nko omo de fine ena on say machines na di adwuma je ne enya den a ebetimi di bia to a e be ye different thing but e say tie scientist no e very important omo de betimi ma what is going on in and out.
See at the Ghanaian Times in Semni Ekoguni, you ever heard the back page of the Ghanaian Times. COVID-19 Trust Fund gives items to 7 health facilities in 3 regions. The COVID-19 National Trust Fund on Tuesday distributed personal protective equipment and other medical items to 7 treatment centers in the Western, Central, and Western North regions to help manage the coronavirus disease in Ghana. Beneficiaries were the Mfiankwanta Regional Hospital, Takwa Government Hospital, Axim Government Hospital, Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, Cape Coast Metropolitan Hospital, Dunkwao Government Hospital, and St. John's of God Hospital in Sefi, Riosun. Each received infrared thermometers, scrub suits, head covers, overalls, heavy-duty aprons, disposable aprons, assorted gloves, surgical face masks, and goggles. The donation is part of consignment with 10 million to be distributed to institutions and individuals who are directly engaged in the combat against COVID-19.
And now where you know kind of saying goggles no
Goggles.
ampa nyina mo yepe enti
That's it,
ye
child.
fere say no dey say no em de
Say
say
gloves and goggles.
then
Gloves.
tigana for say won hu de oye hot hot ya no oye omo tigana o na so person mo ka bro ka amana ne body ka bomu ani ade
That's
ade
such as any gloves there.
mate o de edu ye pon e be ka no achiri na o se adwuma pa a omo ye no me da bia me bom pani fo ba so se me o ye adwuma pa se ya me mani je ho if we say ye hospital si ene me bebre ho omo lake so be kai a doctors fo bia omo so COVID-19 mi chi wo ma no me say patient bi oba ye no na like
On show symptoms
sa
now.
ena omo su omo ni eni pp bia omo ni akande bia omo de bom ba enti se yetimi ekwa donate ndema bi se di ma hospitals a ye esi eche in across every bonu bia every region bia no etimi di bi ko ho na bambo ne timi ko soro enye sa de a na se doctors no so kra ne nurses fo no binya yale ni bi dia na ho na baba ka wan I say in your point you know see who
watches
the
the
watchman
watchman?
eti hwan ene hwe hwan doctor ben ne nurse ben be hwe patient na ha ko ya asem
Say ye de Ghanaian Times in Semino Akoguni de ye kwakwaji aboafo mprato ye bape ye the daily guide emun sensem no enso ebetwa mo. Oh, TV so na otitu.
Are you worried about your security? Are you able to access and protect your property and the people you care about? With an increased height in robbery and kidnapping, you should not compromise on your security. Global Sky Limited, your total security solution, is here to help you secure your office and residence.
Alright, my name is Nesta Lenas. I'm the General Manager of the company Global Sky Security Limited. Global Sky Security Limited, we are an international security company which we specialize in providing security services to various individuals or corporate organizations. When we talk of security systems, namely CCTV, access control device, electrical fence, tracking device, and security man guard officers as well.
The control room is designed in a way that we have radios, a VCR radio there, which monitors our vehicles when they go out for day and night patrols, just to receive first-hand information from supervisors and the team who go out for that patrol.
With the ICT part of the services that we're going to talk about, the CCTV security systems, the access control systems, tracking device systems, biometric door lock systems, and many more. So when we talk about the ICT part, that is the ICT part of the company. We specialize in what I've mentioned earlier. And when you talk about the physical aspect, that has to do with the professional man guard security services. These are professional guys who recruit. We do background check on them. We do profiling on them. We actually train them on two things, theory part and the physical part. Theory part for them to know how to work with people, human relations, and also when it comes to the physical part, how to defend them, to defend themselves in terms of a robbery or an attack. So long story short, basically those are the two things that the company provides.
For more information, call 0302 522 503 or 0264 363 125. You can also visit www.globalskyafrica.com. Global Sky, someone is always watching.
Say I did the bon krata mun sensem the Ghanaian Times any daily graphic akogwi de ni do the daily guide newspaper and so. Ye be sha say our page 4 the editorial I was move for an instance some no and near de chassis. Our hamburgers neighbors. Ghana arguably suffers more from the drawbacks of regional economic blocs than its neighbors in the economic community of West African states, notwithstanding the motley of advantages endangered by such sub-regional bodies. In recent times, there has been a surge in crimes committed by our ECOWAS neighbors. While some of these crimes are ordinary and could be easily swept under the carpet, others, on the other hand, have made scary headlines because of their national security fallout. One of the stories in yesterday's edition of this paper was about two of our ECOWAS neighbors engaged in kidnapping and cyber crime. Without seeking to remind ourselves of the pains of the Tekrade girls who were killed by Nigerian suspects whose case is now in court, that painful story, just juxtaposed against subsequent equal worrying ones, should be enough to trigger xenophobia among some of us, much as tendencies should not be encouraged. Landlords too should be appropriative in matters of security. The location where the two suspect kidnappers lived at Gomua Pomaze in the central region is definitely a property of someone who should have taken pains to find out the occupation of his or her tenant. Had there been done, we were confident that the suspect would have long been stopped in their tracks. Sir Charles.
Yes, sir.
Yemu ni se Ghana ha sense bebre na ebesisi na emfi ya nkrofo yi. Ehwe kidnapping, Takrade girls kidnapping o yese o ye Nigeria fo. Canada fo ebesra ye ni asa kidnapping o yese o Nigeria fo. Enra ye na ne nansanse me ba gomuwa ho no susu. Nigeria fo no omo mfa Ghana fo no. Se se do mo fo mo kromfo. Oh ye koma wa adwuma. Ye do ma ba Ghana, ye do ma be ye adwuma fo. Ye ma ebi mo botutu bra. Na mema na ye chom se no be internet fraud. Na Sir Charles, sa na mai na ye hwa Ghana ankasa no. Ye de ye se ye age ho atum se ye asumdue man. Nti obi obeba bia ye baji no ofel so. Na in some way na graphic ne de aba se paper ne de aba se emmoa Ghana. Daily guys so anya de a emboa Ghana ba kwa because ye je omuni ni na no na omo say ye nkrofo no. We say omo de internet fraud, cyber crime by omo de we scan kese. Na we share Ghana ni bi ono so me potire no wadam si no bi a no so aja tum say oh sir eduma no yankwe no so a kire no nipa na ya kire no so akoche bifo na kosa na etinti no eno na editorial ne de aba say yampe bibi anya amfa ho a ye kuro na ye gitum say ya sumdue man enya de be ya sumdue say ne ye hu no na eno kura be bo nkofo bi say Takrade for ye kum say spacing ne ama otan aba Ghana fo bi any Nigeria fo bi ntem no za no sia no kra otimi bo na sum ebi kro otimi ku no kra fi wiase den no yampe bibi anka amfa ho a ye be da ne South Africa fo si ye kunkum ye man fo
Asemo on say nsem bi say ba aya de bia meka say nsem bi say ba I say take it if one is serious because in them be asem ba oh Nigeria but ye bi say won say Ghana fo bi nsha ase ana because the year ni bi no about Ghana ha obey say ono a take decision just like that yes abubakar o but ya no furu ntuma abontinsu ni bi no betimi ayew abra fie ni nka ho ye van say ya dwum enti Ghana fo bi nso hihya ase ba je say hu ni ahwehwe mu hu ye enti mpanifo nwuwura mu yie no mu hu ansa na ha ko South Africa fo di bi because yen kan hu ni Nigeria fo Ghana fo bu Ghana fo bebre nso wo ho am nso ye adwuma wo ho enti say ye be so leti Nigeria fo a yen kan hu say manfo no mo ho no so mo be so le dey tia whether we like it or not say nipa no ye dey ya na say enye be so le tia say South Africa fo na nse no mo buru yen say Ghana fo nya ya nko so South Africa fo a eni sa na tie enti no mo hwehwe mu yie no mu fani out say efie ni ba bia ni mu ana eno sa de wo ye obi bia ni say be take decision very well eni say Nigeria fo nko Ghana fo so mo na mu kurom mo metrem kum eno sa so mo ba mo pa adwuma mo nye that's it
That was so any Nigerian someone. Anyone against Canada Japan doesn't like the truth. Gospel musician evangelist Diana Samoa has said anyone who is against Canada Japan's decision to expose fake men of God does not like the truth. The award-winning musician in an interview added that the Asling MP is fighting a good cause for God's children. I am very happy in the first place because this will make my fellow Christians wake up and start thinking deep. Therefore, anyone that will rise against what Honorable Kennedy Japan is doing doesn't like the truth. And you see, God is using coronavirus to shake the world. Over some months now, Kennedy Japan has dealt with wild issues about men of God, such as Bishop Daniel Obini, Nigel Gazy, and others. Diana Samoa believes nothing bad will happen to Mr. Japan because he is fighting for God's children, since Christian leaders are not bold enough to speak up and condemn the evil acts by these fake men of God in our societies.
Akosomo, akutia wi ni baby eko.
Ekoma hwan.
Akutia wi obi anu baby eko.
Be tell me na be blow me.
Oh, me the face da me hu story wi apel am say kai, mami wo ni baby okaka no. Say na nsi ahun kai so obeka efese ye mami hu asem.
Ah, sister.
Ye mami ne hu asem say obompa man kofa no tintezu. Eti asem we ba ye. Mo asem we ba ye. Eho no peso odefa. Sisiramanfo. Eho e no peso ode adedefa. E no wase da. Oh.
Say Charles, say hono wan also be a onji Kennedy.
But me bo. Mami ni amoni di anai bondi.
Oh, Kennedy do bondi.
Nice one. Onanya issues.
Onene.
Wan yi ni
Kennedy ni issues so.
No, I'm talking say mo me ba say oni mami ni nya issue because ni nyema bi wo ho ano ya na ono Kennedy Japan hu ni say enye eni nyankopon ensam ni ba abura. Mami wa meka. Dan na meka. Eji kuti anu ha na obo no. Onim pa apote say ho no de fa. Ediga na fo nyina no mbeya adwene say so onim so de fa ho a ho no benya no go say ka Kennedy Japan amu ni din dia fine. Ba ne na Kennedy Japan aboni abo mami din aka ho. Onti meka say mami ne ka hu nti no. But or be fa nkwantie bi. Mimi say na me nim pa ma bi ne die. Minim say ho no nam. But obo Kennedy Japan obo ye obi nim mu ni we mu ni na o de abata so. Ono krase ehwemu a.
Yadi Daily Garden 7 Ebekwebi again. Yebesha Minister turns 2 hospitals into COVID-19 centers. Our page 11. Health Minister Kwekwaji Mangmenu has directed that 2 hospitals should immediately be turned to COVID-19 treatment centers. They are the Bekwai and Fomena government hospitals, both located in the Ashanti region. The minister said both facilities under construction had reached the level and it makes it possible for some completed structures to be turned into COVID-19 treatment centers. Considering the fact that the Ashanti region is considered one of the epicenters of COVID-19 by the health authorities, the minister said there was the need to create more treatment centers in the region. Mr. Ajimamedu disclosed that they were making plans to make sure that the temporary structures are turned into COVID-19 treatment centers in about 2 weeks' time. In 2 weeks' time, the Fomena and Bekwai government hospitals will be ready as COVID-19 treatment centers to take care of patients. Mr. Ajimang, who was on a working visit to the construction site of both hospitals, urged contractors working on the project to expedite action and finish on time. The minister was on the working tour with some top officials of the Ghana Health Service to assess the program of work ongoing in both the health sectors. Sir Charles.
Yes, I.
Hospital mienu ayensi we. Minister said they be COVID-19 treatment center no sha. Eyi Accra fimu a. Ashanti region the second highest place coronavirus cases na do so quarantine. Omo say so omo dey say for men na we hospital ni na ye treatment center ebeboa.
O menene ya adwene. If we say on say wohwe mu a okopie mu Ashanti region ho a so far ye said ni bia bibre wo ho a nse ebetimi abo nti say omo si we na omo dey support other hospitals say wokuma say Ashanti region mamu na ebeboa pa because bibi a ebetimi abo ya ma yatimi akọ atia COVID-19 no manage ho as I say ade bia ebetimi di akọ de atia na afi mpanifo nso nhwe na if I say some edan bia mampeni da eba be sisi nwura mu no komunye ni nyina yie na mfa ni nyina bi nye COVID-19 schools bia wantumi anwi a sisi nwura mu no yenko sisi ho ni yensi yemfa ho nso nye bi What you say? You say, Massa, ye to me, son, and so okay, will be a cancer as we say, some actor be more or say, young family mean to what? Remember, say, Obi, a year, you know, Jahokwa. The Obanus about to us so, and some wine, dear. Any mandate, as I say, aging away can near my war, sad and then I see his view. The Yapping busy hospital floor, and I COVID-19 once. We are betraying, community number 2 and perfume. It in school says, Sissy, Sam Remuna, a judge, as one in Nano. Yen sees in ye, yen a comma, yen fine yet. COVID-19 health service no nti ewie na se nyame adom na COVID-19 fi wo kwa yes I go back to our schools e dey adwuma eno ko mema kro no e ho biebi emia na biebi dan se be jensi asimuro ni asambesi bufro abespeniska saska we IDC take de ye no a kakra bi ne be ye no ye de aka no enso ko ibu foforo dan se etu Ghana dey say se enim se etu ye biebi tu skatu
aha ene ye de ye derbon krata mun sensem ne mun pinsin no ni na ebesi and follow you on your social media platforms Facebook and Instagram MHTV YouTube and Twitter so Marveling House Limited with my visit your website www.marvelinghouse.com ejimeko aso ya sene emetimi di jumeden brewo global sky security. Global sky says someone is always watching. We have security who near money na CCTV cameras, electric fence. Security man cry here will fear cry. Global sky say no and a nipa ba ko a jumeko ba ko a ohia with my friend Global Sky it was 0302522503 0302522503 no and Leonard Holmes and a Sawyer Sne na ya ene morning break newspaper ya de bra mo me Akosomo ena
Sir Charles
yes I
Charles nana atubi yadoma majeso Sir Charles na say we are come yes I
yeah that your production team ni na from Father Dixon Jr. to Team B and Team B ba ko pe ya Team B do timi tia ya na ye team na ya Team B oh ene meto ade acho ai me na maka na me do ko ma wako papa bi pa ye da mu ni na ase se mo hwe yen yakra mu
Mema wakwaba edeba Ghana is watching Jumedie so. Ghana is watching Jumedie shronkokra Marveling House yahye ne edeba be somo asomo sompa. Ewo Jumedie so yehwe nia ekoyie ene nia enkoyie ewo oman yi mu. Ne yabobo ni nyina no ape anopo mesibre. Wo Jumedie so yebehwe ye kwanso ensem aso wo kwanso nsamumpo etesen Senia ehyenkafo etwi wana hyem basabasa ewo omayi mu yebesanso ahwe senia yen ahonidie ensem tie ewo wompotem ho sena ahonidie ensem etie ewo ho unim se enkese de biara da yen ahonidie eda nanso sen ena etie ewo omayi mu wompotem ho no mu no ahonidie ho nsem no aso eye hwan asede se obehwe amana akoyie yebesanso ahwe yen bambo ensem Sena ye bambo nsem etie ewo oman mu nipa bonfo adoso amakro no amane homne so ewo oman mu aso ekwan benso ena yefa esi ano kwan yenam abefo kwan so anase yenam kane kwan so ena yede ba besi ano kwan metumi safre wona wonim de efa ne amakeke nyina ho ne yatena se apensen insemu ape ano pomasibre Ghana is watching Ghana ehwe